Welcome to MotoGP. God damn it! Now you got me doing it. Hello, folks, and welcome to MotoGP Mac Podcast number 41. We're here to go over the travesty of the Marc Marquez ruling and odd bits and bolts of everything else.
Yeah, so it's been pretty slow this week, to be very honest, with MotoGP news and stuff like that. So I suppose, look, let's kick into and just rehash a small bit on last week's podcast. So it looks really like that Marquez could get off with the double long lap penalty. Now I have said, like, look, Honda have appealed not the actual penalty itself, but actually the physical location and the change of location according to the stewards. So is it pretty bad sportsmanship? It probably actually is. But saying that, as a racer and a competitor, yeah, it's like if you tell me go sit in the corner over there during a race and then you change your mind, I'm going to challenge that. Is that within the right ruling? Now, saying this, there is an awful lot of people pissed off with it in the fact that Marquez signed the piece of paper saying, okay, yes, I accept that I will do a double long lap in Argentina, already knowing I probably won't make Argentina.
Yeah.
And therefore, that is the problem for people. But unfortunately, this is about something written on black and white piece of paper, which is a judgment. And that's what Honda are appealing on. Not the penalty, but the change of location of the penalty and the review of that, which unfortunately they are entitled to do.
But the FIM is also entitled to go. We're going with the spirit of the penalty and give it to them at COTA all day long.
They are, but you see, when the appeal was done to this, it was appealed to the FIM. Now, the FIM were never, ever going to rule against another FIM member, right? So it's never going to happen, right? So they were never going to put their hands up and say, that's it. So this is why it's now gone to another thing for appeal, or the World Sports Council, or whatever it is. And I don't think they're going to meet before COTA. So the penalty, more or less realistically, is not going to be served in COTA. And this is what I said Marquez is going to get away with it. He may get caught further down the road, which is fine.
Yeah. I'd even say it's fine, it's not a COTA, but I want to see him get a penalty somewhere. Yeah. If it's not COTA, make it the next one.
Well, I would kind of disagree in that one, because COTA is one of the two best chances Marquez has to win, even if the bike is a pig.
But the bike's such a pig, he's going to win one race this season, maybe two. So it's not, no harm, no foul.
COTA and Sachsenring are the two tracks that I would bet money on Mark being in the top three in a bathtub.
Yeah,
with an engine.
Yeah, COTA's 90. It's so screwed up that it's 90% rider at COTA.
It is, but Mark is just, to be fair with him, he's around there. It suits him. It's a left-hand turn majority of the track. You know what I mean? And he doesn't mind the bike getting out of shape and trying to kill him at every corner. And never mind the straights. Do you know what I mean? And he just gets on with it. Every time he goes there, he performs. Look at him last year. He came back. Do you know what I mean? He went to last on the grid and he battled all the way through to whatever. If he was showing that pace, just for example, and he started where he was starting, he would have won the race hands down.
Oh yeah.
So look, I think look, it's going to happen that. It's not going to happen. I don't think that the council are going to meet, especially with Easter. Do you know what I mean? It just backs everything up.
Yeah.
So possibly could meet on the Thursday night, but I would doubt it. So I don't think he's going to serve it there. Will the World Sports Council? That's where I think they could turn around and say, "Listen, look, it was done in the spirit of the rules and regulations. You should serve it." Or again, it's a court of law. Do you know what I mean? You said serve it there. He didn't go there. Do you know what I mean? It's like, hey, did you pay that speeding fine? Never got the notification. Sorry, so I did.
Yeah,
you
got the notification.
Yeah. He got the notification, but he didn't turn up there to serve it. But
Honda's playing OJ trial, so that's what makes you. It's like, bullshit.
It's like anything. Like I always remember a very good statement from Christian Horner in Red Bull in Formula One. He's like, I expect my team manager to go whinge at the FAI, or the FAI. What is it?
FIA.
FIA to go. We have FAI here, which is Football Association of Ireland. So I get mixed up between the two. But the FIA, but like he would expect for anything like a blade of grass be blown towards the car, he expects them to contact the FIA to be like, hey, what's that? So look,
two wrongs don't make a right, and that's why the FIA has a rule book that's
it is
1,000 pages,
Yeah, but if you can bury them in that rule book for majority of the race and keep your advantage, fair play to you. Do you know what I mean? That's the other side of racing, unfortunately. Bezzecchi.
Yes.
So Bezzecchi, he came out during the week and he was very courteous. And yesterday's video actually was more so about this. You haven't actually seen it yet, Jake. But yesterday's video, and I just thought it was a little bit weird, and it was kind of like he was stating that without Valentino Rossi's help, that he wouldn't be in the position that he was in, and that's fair and correct. And then I was looking at like the academy is no longer really the academy that it once was, right? So like you had the Moto 3 team, the Moto 2 team, and then the MotoGP team now, but the other two are gone. Now, yes, I know they're in bed with a couple of other teams, but I think the academy kind of whole legacy thing is that kind of coming to an end. Like realistically, you have Vietti in there, and then I was still laughing and thinking about
But he was in it. But he was in it, so he still remembers it. It's to him, it's still fresh.
Yeah, it's still there. To him, it's still fresh. But I'm just talking about like another 5 or 6 years time.
Yeah,
who is going to come up, right? Because like if you look at it this year, and I've said this now since last year, since we saw Bezzecchi on the Ducati, I reckon Bezzecchi is a shoe-in at Pramac, an absolute shoe-in at Pramac.
Yeah.
They want him. They fucking want him, right?
Yeah. And they're not going to let him loose. Ducati's definitely not going to let him loose without a fight.
Now, what happens though if Yamaha sign with VR46? VR46 aren't going to want to lose him.
No, but Bezzecchi has the power right now to go where he wants to, and he's going to want to go with Ducati.
But that's what I was saying was strange and funny is that he's saying that without VR46 I wouldn't be where I am or not. But he could probably have a loyalty battle in his own mind coming up very shortly with, do I go with Ducati? Or do I go with VR46? And then I was looking at like the academy realistically only has one other rider up and coming to maybe fill that spot. So like you have Vietti, who is a VR46 rider in Moto 2.
Right.
So then I'm like, okay, would they?
Dead.
Huh?
I was thinking I was talking to myself. I said, past him, that the VR46 is done. Really,
the academy is more or less done with him.
Yeah.
So then I was kind of thinking to myself, okay, so is it going to be Vietti and Morbidelli? Or is it going to be Marini and Vietti? Where does Morbidelli go if Yamaha dump him? So then I was like, ooh, that's kind of like, it's a bit of a pickle still, even if Bezzecchi does go to Ducati, there's still not enough seats for the bums on of each of the riders. Do you know what I mean? Because there's still there's five. There'd be 5 riders in MotoGP in 4 seats, realistically.
Yeah.
So I just found it interesting, and like that's kind of like, you know, what is he going to have to do? Bezzecchi, firstly, he has a choice, and then VR46 will have an awful fucking choice between 3 riders, I think. Do you know what I mean? Well now, look, Vietti hasn't got to MotoGP yet, hasn't really shone this year, so it could be that he mightn't get there. I think while Marini is Rossi's half brother or whatever, you know, he's the only VR46 rider in the MotoGP without a win.
Yeah.
And like I don't care what anyone says. That's like walking into, like, they all have world championships.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? 3
and
out of 4,
and he's the big guy there too. And throughout history, okay, the big guys only last so long in MotoGP before they end up getting the boot. So you know, it's a lot of money for investment into a rider. Do you want to say how long is that guy going to last? I don't care if he's Valentino Rossi's brother.
Yeah. Yeah, and I just think it's just interesting though that he is going to have, and I think there's going to be a decision for Bezzecchi, but there's also going to be a decision for VR46 that's coming up of what's going to happen, and then there's going to be the big decision for VR46 of, do we stay with Ducati or do we go to Yamaha, right? So I think there's an awful lot there that's going to play out throughout the year, I think, that we need to keep our eyes on. Then actually, the next thing we talk about is the private test in Jerez that happened this week.
Boom, boom, boom.
Boom, boom, dun, 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 dun. Now, no pictures at all have been surfaced of any bike from that test. Never mind the Honda.
Right.
Any bike at all.
Right.
So
was that preset though before this? Yeah, I thought it was. That's all. Yeah, just reiterating.
So just in the start of the year, teams can nominate the circuits. I think it's up to 3 circuits that they can nominate that they can do the testing on. So I know like Jerez is one of them. I think Yamaha have Motegi, and they have and they have another one. I know Ducati have Misano and Mugello,
right,
and another track as well. And then your test riders have a number of sets of tires that they can use throughout the year. So, for example, let's just take Honda and we'll just talk about it immaterial whether it's a tweak chassis or a brand new chassis. They can run in a week, if they want to, that chassis with all the tires from their test allocation, if they want to. But they would be putting everything into one. So what they could do is that they would say, we're going to test these 5 days, and this is going to use 20 tires out of our 100 sets. Or 20 sets of tires out of our 100 sets. And that's fine.
I don't think they're at 100 yet. Then again, they don't have 100 left now. They're probably down to 20 in the period. Yeah.
But it's normal throughout the season that they do it. They're private tests. And within those tests, they can actually test whatever they want.
Right.
They could test next year's engine if they wanted to. Because there was a couple of comments on about Trump that maybe Yamaha and teams should be banned from testing, like changing the chassis completely or doing this. And no, look, that's part of it. Like, if you can build a chassis for every day of your test, by all means go and do that. Yeah. You know what I mean? That's immaterial. That's the whole point of testing, is to go and learn and whatever.
Yeah, why restrict testing? Christ, they don't have enough testing to begin with. You know?
Yeah. Look, Miles on it, and again, look, I just think I think it's going to be interesting. And then the other day I was kind of sitting down, and I was like, I saw actually an Instagram post from Marc Marquez that he was back in training.
Yeah, I saw that too.
And I was just like, they'd never bring the chassis to Kota, would they? And I haven't seen it in any news or anyone kind of coming out there kind of putting that out there, right? And I was like, from my own mind, and this is kind of the thought process that I had with it, is that okay, they put Bradle on it, and Bradle is, we know, 2.5 1.7
2 seconds. Yeah,
slower-ish, maybe 1.2 to 1, between 1.2 and 1.7 is kind of where I was, right? In my own head.
I don't know how they can see any difference when it's rather that slow period. I mean, how can you tell when the guy's that much slower than if it's an improvement or not? It might look great to him, but great, he's still so slow. The faster rider gets on and goes, oh, just another pig in his stall, you know?
Yeah. And look, that's fine. Like, because listen, like anyone that has raced or has race experience, right, knows that to get within a second is easy enough. Do you know what I mean? It's that last second. And then when you get to that last second, it's last half second or last quarter second. And it just gets harder and harder. And like that, it's fine. But I'm just kind of thinking to myself, did they put Bradle out there on it to make sure it doesn't fold in half? Like, the last thing that they want is Mark out there and the fucking thing bends or whatever, right? And this is where I'm kind of going to, where that I think internally that they've made promises to Mark that obviously we would never know about. Joe, we're going to do this. We're going to do this. This is how they've shown Mark a plan of how they hope to make the bike better. And I think this is maybe the reason why they put Bradle on it, was that to make sure that it works. Realistically, is Bradle's feedback that important? I don't think so.
No.
It's like it's about Mark. So I think they were just sense checking it. You know, they probably had other bikes out there as well that they were back-to-backing with Bradle just to get maybe a comparison, a guideline. But like, it would be Mark decide. And I saw when, like, even with the injury that he has, it isn't that bad. It's but Kota is a bouncy track. Kota, you know, so you need to be able to grip that bar tight. Do you know what I mean? It is probably a risk him coming back, if I'm honest. But look, he's very open about taking risks. And it's also a good opportunity for him to win. And then I was like, it's probably a good opportunity for Honda to test that chassis with Mark. Yeah.
I don't know. That Kota is so unique and so motocrossy. Is it really that good of a test? Because it's so different.
But you see, the way I'm looking at it is like, if he took that out on practice session 1 green track, do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Have a feel off it. You know, we'll focus on your normal bike, but take this out for 4 or 5 runs. Do you know what I mean? Do 10, 15 laps and then give us your overall impression. Then it's 3 weeks from the test in Jerez. Does that make sense? So they have 2 weeks to make changes to it to see, okay, back to back on a rubbered in track. This is what we're then going to see what's the difference. And for me, that makes a logical engineering kind of step. Okay, go check it. What you like, what you don't like. Okay, let's re-engineer or retweak or whatever and see exactly what we can do and get out of it. Now, saying that, I don't think it's a fucking magic bullet either. Do you know what I mean? I don't think it's that. I don't think it's that silver bullet. I think, realistically, if I'm honest, I think this is more in line for next year.
Yeah. I think it's going to be a tweak. I think it's just a very basic base setting. What they're saying, what can we do, just to give Kalex a feel of what they were dealing with.
Maybe, but look, I would think Kalex would be a little bit different in the way of send us your drawings, what you have, send us your data, let us look at it. Maybe they might make a tweak, but I think Kalex are a little bit smarter than just throwing their name on something. Because, like, remember, in my view, as a company, if Kalex makes this and it's fucking worse, right? It's going to destroy them. Do you know what I mean? So for all the money in Japan,
China, yeah,
Japan, they're not going to put their brand at risk. I don't think, anyway. So if they're not happy with it, I don't think they would have released it. So, but look, it's open there. No one officially knows, because no one can actually or has actually seen the chassis. But what I do have is I have the official MotoGP Mac data acquisition and scrutineering device.
Okay.
Supplied by Sleepwalker. And what it will be doing, it's plastic, so it will not damage the screen. But I will be taking the measurements, comparing it to the old chassis and new chassis, and getting an idea based off the front wheel, what are the measurements and the differences. So as soon as pictures come out, I will be on it like a fly to shit. And we will make sure that we understand whether it's a tweak or whether it's the real deal from Kalex.
My cousin's joking, and he says, "Tell the Honda fans," he says, "Honda's engineering is so weak that they might have been stepping over the a solution for their chassis over and over again, and just didn't see it. It's right in front of them, because that's their only. That short amount of time. That's the saving. If you're looking for something to be fixed right away, that's about the only chance they got."
Well, you know what they say: when you find something, it was always in the last place you looked.
Yeah, he did. He said they're so screwed up because they're so weak and screwed up. That could be an answer.
Yeah,
I've seen worse. I've seen it happen before. I said, "Well, yeah, true."
Yeah, true. What do you think about Toprak?
Oh man, I don't know about Toprak. I don't know if Toprak style he rides so hard on that front tire, and then everything's rear tire bias. I think he's gonna have a hell of a time with that. I think he's gonna have a tough time with it. At first, at least.
Yeah, I think. Look, of course, there's always going to be that switch over period. But I think
I want to see it.
I think, I want to see Toprak in MotoGP, but with who? Like, you're Toprak's manager right now,
right? Well, you know, his reputation is so good that he could actually go into Yamaha and say the bike's a pig, and everybody would believe him.
But would you go to Yamaha?
Big money.
Yeah, but like, I don't think money matters to him.
Yeah, but it does to his manager.
It does, but his manager is also his manager is also super competitive.
Yeah,
he doesn't want to manage someone that's not battling at the front consistently. Yeah. No, I just thought it was funny. It's like, I think there's a number of options open to him. I think those numbers of options open to him are Red Bull teams. Anyone with Monster Energy on the side of their bike. Yeah. And I think that's what will decide it. So it would be who? Red Bull?
KTM? Yeah.
Honda? Maybe
Honda.
Aprilia.
Yeah.
They don't have any energy drink backing.
Right.
Can't be Ducati. They're Monster.
Right.
And Honda or Yamaha are Monster. So
he probably loved to go onto the KTM. I mean the excuse me, I'm lying. The Aprilia.
I'd say he probably would, yeah, but they couldn't really. Well, if it's big money, they couldn't afford him. Do you know what I mean? But I don't think he'd actually be that money big. I think he'd be big, but if he won the world championship 2 or 3 times, yeah, he'd be big money, right? But the fact that he has it the once,
yeah, I think that losing the title kind of tempered his
we
took
were
the
saying
shellac off
earlier,
of a bit. Yeah,
took the shine off him a small bit. Yeah, look, he is an absolute tremendous rider. There is absolutely no doubt about that. But I would love to see him in MotoGP. I think he deserves a go off it. And one of the other riders that I wish that had a proper go off it was Johnny Ray.
Yeah,
like there's fellas out there that would do well in this, and given the time and the scope. But there's definite talk that he's not just focused on coming to MotoGP with Yamaha, which now look, this could also be a how would I say, a ploy to kind of say, listen, look, it's it's a negotiation tactic. They all
yeah.
do it.
Yeah, and if he doesn't make it this year, he's never going to go. Did you hear him say that too? If he doesn't make it, yeah, if he doesn't make it into MotoGP in 2024, he's going to stay in Superbike forever.
Oh,
yeah,
right. Okay,
that came out this morning. Yeah, I don't believe that in this for a second.
Right. Yeah. Now I'm also quite excited about this weekend. I won't go into it yet, but British Superbikes have started this weekend, and if you do get a chance to watch British Superbikes, do just have a go off it anyway. But
no, it is excellent, real tight turning road racing. It isn't big. The tracks aren't big on long straights, but man, they turned. They're just twisted.
Yeah, they're narrow tracks.
Yeah, I think like Portimao. It's like Portimao all over and over again.
And yeah, but look, what I think I really like about BSB racing is there's no traction control, very little electronics for the bike, right? So your head, your hand, your arse, and your foot all have to talk to each other at the same time. So it's really, really rider orientated in the way of no traction control, etc.
Yeah.
Now,
except your ass keeps saying, "Hey, can you put some traction control on this bike?" When he's talking to its brain. I'm tired of this shit. I'm tired of getting knocked on my ass here.
Yeah.
Put some traction control on this bike.
But it's actually a fairly affordable race series to get into as well. So it's good. I was reading somewhere, I can't remember where I read it. Actually, by a fella called Oscar Harrow, I think.
Okay.
Put out in a media that Marquez is so angry at Honda that he could move to KTM. And I think, though,
where does that name come up? Harrow. Wait, I've heard that before, but I can't remember where.
He's an ex-Honda boss.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
All right. Now, look, I think for the next 2 years we're going to, well, definitely the next year, we're going to be hearing Marc Marquez is moving here, Marquez is doing this, doing that.
Yeah.
And I don't think Marquez, but there is some rumor mills out there that negotiations have started with KTM.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, he's good enough to win on the KTM all day.
Jesus, KTM frightened the shit out of a lot of us the past 2 weekends. Really, if you look at them, ballsy Binder in the sprint race. Do you know what I mean? Joe, and okay, they didn't fare too great in Argentina, but like they're definitely there. They're agile. They're willing to change. They're hunting. They're hungry. They're investing.
They have great engineers. They spend their engineering budget is higher. I think it's one of the highest out there. I mean, they really spend money on. That's how they poach everybody. By the way, the pay if they're paying it is high.
But that's again, like poaching is absolutely normal. You know,
Yeah.
you have a good engineer over there. Like it's a small community, and you find a good engineer, and all of a sudden you find out that he's being paid €30,000. We'll give you €40,000 if you come over here. Of course you will. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. It is that sort of world. So it unfortunately it puts teams in a play where your MVP or your most valuable people, you pay them well, you keep them happy.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? You give them the conditions, you inspire them to do the work that they want to do, and
that's where passion comes back into it. Like I said before, many times. Like I said, Ducati, you're a rock star. Aprilia, you're a rock star. Right? Honda, you're the flunky. From the auto division.
We talked about this a little bit offline, right? But like, if you look at Honda, and in no disregard or disrespect to Honda, but Honda have a very different philosophy about the bike.
Yeah,
the bike is key, right? And when you look at, and I know Honda have come out and they said they want to keep Marquez and all of this stuff, right? But go back to Valentino Rossi, right? Now, they lost Rossi because the bike was more valuable than the rider in Honda's eyes.
Right.
And I don't think that core philosophy would change very quickly or at all. Do you know what I mean? It's about the bike, it's about the brand.
Right. And in Rossi's case, the bike was good.
That was
the year. That was the last year they had, or the only year they had a bike that was handled well that everybody could ride. Right.
The CRCV 211.
Yeah. The V5. Just call it. I'll give Honda hell all day, but when they do right, I'll give them props.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Look. I think, but I just think, look, they lost Rossi because of that mentality, and I genuinely do believe that mentality still exists within Honda. That there's more of an aura around the bike than the rider, and especially like Honda, in my view, Honda's performance. I think, what was the video I did from 2018? Because I used the number 2 rider in the championship to predict the downward trend of things. And like you can see it in Yamaha, for example, you could see it, like you had Rossi and you had Lorenzo, and both of them were able to battle for the lead consistently.
Yep. Yes.
When you had Rossi and Edwards previous to Lorenzo, do you know what I mean? You had Rossi in first and Edwards in 7th or 6th or 5th. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
So I think a couple of problems would happen with Yamaha. Was like, okay, Pedrosa, I think it was Pedrosa's last year. So what was that, 2018? 17? 18?
17. It's 17 or 18. You're right.
And he couldn't get the bike to work from him at all. But they haven't then been able to get a rider or a second rider that could consistently get the maximum out of that. And that tells me then that's where the bike really went down.
Yeah.
It may not have been the best engineered bike all the way along, but they had 2 really, really good riders that were able to get
they had 2 aliens at first, right?
Exactly. But then when it goes down, after that, like you had some great caliber riders on that bike. Lorenzo.
Yeah.
He is a double world champion. He's just like, you can't dismiss him. Joe, you can't say he's a shit rider, right? Do you know what I mean?
Well, he was going downhill at that point, but that's
he was on the way out, but he was still good.
But not he was coming in 23rd, 22nd. Oh my God, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We used to call it the Honda Goldwing, the RCV Goldwing, because he was cruising behind everyone,
Yeah, and look, he's right too. If it's not your day, he was at that stage of his career where it was just like, no. Then you had Alex Marquez on it, who wasn't afraid to crash but couldn't get the best out of it. Then you had Pole, and Pole had a miserable 2 years on it.
Trying like hell.
Trying like hell. Mir, I can't wait to see what he does over time. I don't think he will get the Kalex chassis first. Being honest, I know that was a question in one of the things. I think he will get it at the test or after the test to try this, or maybe a couple of laps on it. But I don't think he'll get too much in it. But I just think the philosophy needs to change a little bit in Honda to drive success, and I think the guy, and I know we mentioned it, the head of Honda was at the first race in Portimao. I know you have a different opinion on it, but for me, I think it was just first race that he's there. He of course he wants to have a presence in Europe. And I think during that week, I do think he put a bit of foot to ass within the European teams to say, like, you better sort this shit out.
You look happy, that was for sure. I mean, he was looking up like, Jesus Christ.
Joe, it's very different from a Zoom call bollocking to an in-person bollocking, if you know what I mean. So again, look, that's where I think he was there. I know you think he was there for other reasons, but I think it's just interesting what their next steps are with it. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Also, what?
I just think that you think it started way back what we were saying it longest it's 6 months ago. I think it started, this Kalex project started 6 weeks ago, 8 weeks ago. I think that him coming down there was like, okay, he was coming down for, do we need to spend the extra money? Because they already spent millions and millions of dollars, and this Kalex project is going to cost them a fortune now because they're doing it twice. And I don't see why. Like, I remember when Rock did Yamaha, they would be telling Marc Marquez first person he's going to leave, right? He's holding up their whole MotoGP program. He would be the first one to tell, hey, don't worry about it. We got something coming. Kalex is working on it. Why would he be complaining and bitching the whole time?
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense that it was running that whole time.
Yeah, I get you on that. But look, firstly, I think Mark is very prickly, as Crafer has said.
Oh yeah, you can't trust him as far as you can throw him. Let's put it that way.
Exactly. So look, I think he's sending a message to Japan to hurry up when he gives out about the bike. And like, for me, a racer, it's never fast enough. Never, ever, ever is development fast enough. Right. So, and look, I'll just explain my theory in this is that I think they engaged Kalex. I would think it's somewhere in around 12 months ago now, right? To build a swing arm. Right. Yeah. And then when if you remember, they built the swing arm, and about a week before they were due to test the swing arm, it broke in the press. Okay. And everyone was like, oh my God, an next thing. And I think when Mark tried that swing arm and liked it, even though in the press he was like, oh no, it doesn't really make a difference.
Yeah.
Right. And now every single Honda has an aluminium swing arm on it, which they always use carbon for years beforehand. I think that's when maybe some smart Honda executive turned around and said, well, okay, if it costs us X to get that and it works, can you?
Yeah, but then they ran a parallel one with it. That's what threw me. When they ran that second parallel one again,
they have to, though.
That's like, I can just see a guy going, we don't really need to do that. Let's run our own too. See how really good they are.
That isn't it. That bike that they were running, that swing arm on, that was an experimental bike. So it would make completely no sense to run the same swing arm in that experimental bike.
Right, but but wouldn't you run the old one? We would run the old one versus the new Kalex, not make yet another new one. You know,
their old one was carbon, so it was completely different, even structure and material.
Right.
So they had to run an aluminium swing arm.
Right.
They had to make an aluminium.
Again, though, why would they do that? Why would they say, "Oh, that's Honda saying, yeah, we can do it ourselves"?
Yeah, but why do they put your stuff by the door instead of firing you? They have their own techniques and mannerisms, right? Like I implore. I think it was good to see that they're trying.
It's good to say they're trying. It's a smart move. It's the smartest move they've made.
Yeah, and I just think at that stage when they saw the success that they were having with the aluminium swing arm or aluminum, I think they started with, could you make us a chassis?
Mm-hmm.
And Kalex being Kalex would do, I believe, will do it on their own terms. Mr. Kalex, CEO of Kalex, said it took him 9 months to make the Moto 2 chassis, the original one. Now,
and 6 weeks ago, Mr. Kalex also said we have absolutely no MotoGP
experience.
Absolutely no MotoGP data as we speak right now, which means you'd have to have him lying. Germans aren't good at lying.
Yeah, but he also can't actually say that. Yes, we do have it, because that would be confirming it.
Yeah, but he did say he did say I won't confirm anything. But he said well, I won't confirm anything other than we have nothing, no MotoGP data here, which makes me tell me they're starting from there, not from.
Yeah, no, I think they have the data. Personally,
but the biggest thing I think is not telling Mark. Mark would not be if he knew. Why wouldn't you tell him? He's your anchor. Why wouldn't the hell you keep him happy and tell him I have this thing running?
I think he knows, right? But I think Mark also knows that there's been a lot of promises with Honda that we're going to start this, we're going to get this done. Mm-hmm. And the negative comments or the bad comments come out at maybe, let's just say, the wrong time. So Mark is just full of adrenaline or pissed off of shit, I've had a bad session. And then someone's putting a mic under it and say, what about the bike? Oh, fuck that thing. We've all done it, I mean, just in the heat of the moment. So I think
this doesn't make sense, this whole thing, But then again, we're dealing with executives. So I'm second guessing it as an executive, trying to, what they would think more than a race team. If it was, if Honda had passion, you'd say, okay, it's easier to say what's going on. Then you have a differing factor going on. Because the engineer, the execs run Honda racing. It's an odd situation. You know that. That's what's making them so weak.
Yeah. Look, I think there's a couple of things that I still always question with Honda, and even with Yamaha, right? In the way that things are run, there is that disconnect still there between Japan and Europe, right? And it's a massive, massive disconnect, in my view. But the other side of the coin, and I suppose this is something we're probably in danger of losing, both Yamaha and Honda.
I don't think so. I
don't know. I have a thing. I have a feeling that if
with Honda, it's in a corporate trust. Remember, he made that so they had a race.
Yeah. But listen, look, you can just enter in a job. It will be an LCR Honda. Do you know what I mean? Reduce the funding.
Oh yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It would turn into a Mickey Mouse thing, and like Yamaha. Look, I don't think they would have. Look, I just think the amount of money that they're going to need to spend will start asking questions at a senior executive board level, in my view, that we may not like the answers to.
But do they want to go out in the bottom like this instead of going out in the top, or Christ, at least being competitive?
I don't think they'll care which way they've gone out. And we did see this, I suppose, a couple of times during the week within the comments and stuff that, I love sitting down and watching old MotoGP and reminiscing in the old days of like Catalonia 2010 when Rossi went up the inside in the last corner, etc. Those kind of moves and passes and stuff like that. But I'm also very present in today's day and age, and my dad always taught me that you're only as good as your last race. So if you fucking crash into the thing and the only thing that you want to try and beat this year is your results from last year, right? Joe, and it's thinking,
I said somebody, I said pedigrees for dogs. I said it doesn't make a difference what they did 30 years ago, for God's sake.
You still do have a pedigree, right? And like you have a pedigree of, in my view, and I get what you mean in tongue in cheek, but I still believe that, like, I'll take Aprilia as one of the things. They have a pedigree of trying and executing wins. They do, from 125s, 250s, all the way up. They were experimental. They were brave in their decisions. They knew things probably wouldn't work, but they gave them a go to see what happens, etc. And like I would class that as a pedigree of being innovative.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? And that's fine, but because people won a championship or 20 championships in 40 years means nothing in today's racing.
No,
do you know what I mean? Like, throw water under the bridge, it's gone.
Yeah,
you forget it. It's nice to look at the trophy on the wall. But if there's no trophy on the wall from this year or last year, problem. That's my view.
NV had 37, has the most, had 37 titles, but it didn't help him in Moto 2. Now, did it?
But it's just, and look, it's not talking about, and it's not telling anyone don't be proud of your favorite motorbikes team's past.
Right.
But,
it's great to be a fan, but you got to be realistic in it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and look, that's where I am, like, Joe, when I look at it. And I do want people, being very honest, do want people to be very proud of their brand, to love the brand that they ride, to be realistic. But again, if you're really a fan, sometimes it is unrealistic.
I hate to see people think there's things that are gonna change in a day. Like it's gonna be this magic wand gonna come across. Because they always get let down. Christ, they've been getting let down for 2 years. I keep saying to him, guys.
Yeah, but
it takes time,
But I find that really endearing. And
do they get let down all the time?
No,
I feel bad for it.
That they still get kicked in the bollocks, right? And they hope again. Because for me, that's probably one of the most powerful things.
Hope is one thing, but I hate to see people expect it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but like, look, there's a difference between expectation and hope, and like I've seen a majority of people in comments they mention the word hope. They never turn around and say, Honda will be 110% back. There's but
I see that they're going, they'll be back. They'll be
that's fine.
They're going to be back and it's going to be strong. No, probably not. You know what I mean? No, it's probably not. Don't put all your eggs in that basket because they got more problems than this chassis.
But in saying that, look, we've learned never say never, right? I would say, will Honda be back super strong? Not this year.
Yeah, but they only have to be good enough.
No, it doesn't.
They only have to be good enough for Marquez to win. That's their holdout hope. They only have to be, because Marquez has won the titles.
That's my whole point. That's my whole point a while ago, is that Honda believe it's the bike, knowing it's Marquez.
Yeah,
right?
That are advertised that way.
But it can't. Do you know what I mean? And I think that's where things are going. And like, I implore fans, follow your brand, believe in your brand, do this for your brand or whatever. Just be very real with it. Is Honda going to get back? Not this year. Is it going to happen next year? You don't know, because 2 years ago, we thought Aprilia, when it came out, was going to be a pup. And it blew the balls off us, and we're like, fuck.
Whoa, where did that come from? But who called it? And who I've always follow is like the insiders, like Simon Crafar. They know what's going on. They know ahead of time. So I just mimic what they say, more or less, and say, what do they say? And then I'll bring that up because they're there. They're in the pits. They're talking to the engineers.
They have their feet on the ground. And as I said earlier, right, MotoGP paddock is a very, very, very small community. Everyone knows what's going on. Like, you flush the toilet 3 times, everyone in the paddock knows that you did a fucking huge one, right?
Yeah.
Simple as that, right? And that's proper order, because it's a part of the thing that people don't see about MotoGP is that it is a traveling circus. While they are competing on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, no one or very little people are actually out to hurt, dismember, destroy, interfere with anyone's thing. Let them get on with their job and do this. So I personally, I just think, if I'm honest, I think, be proud of it. Like, I'm a very proud Yamaha man. Always will.
Yeah.
I'd fucking kill them if they're a thing.
But you're realistic too. You have your feet in the ground.
I have to be a fucking. I've been humbled so many times by them. Do you know what I mean? Like, and I'll go back to this. I always use my rule of thumb is, like, a bike is as good as its number 2 rider. Where's its number 2 rider? Right. And if your number 2 rider is in second or third position, you got a good bike.
Right.
If you're up front and the other fella is down the back, got a good bike. And if you change that rider and he's still down the back, you definitely don't have a good bike, right?
Right.
But that's not saying that you can turn around and say, right, and I look at, and Aprilia is a really good example of it. Majority of people were not taking Aprilia MotoGP bikes seriously. You had Moto 2 riders turning the fucking thing down.
Yeah.
No, I'm not going to. No way. No. I'll do another year of Moto 2.
Yeah.
Like, that's, like, for me, that's the biggest insult you could get for a team. Then Aprilia turned around and said, right, we're going to bring all this in-house. Do you know what I mean? They took it away from Grassini, doesn't it? And they built the bike. And then all of a sudden it came out, blew the balls off us, and it was like, oh, well, okay, actually, they're on it. Now they're beating people away from riding with them. I can tell you 110%. Fabio's team, probably the only rider right now, or the only 2 riders that right now Aprilia could not sign would be Pecco.
Yeah.
And Bastianini. Everyone else would second guess it.
You're right. They put it in a factory. If they get a factory team, they could pull anybody if for a factory, because you don't really know how close the Aprilia is, to be not trying to put the riders down, but they really don't have that ace rider yet. They don't have that Pecco. They don't have that.
They don't have that super alien.
Yes, exactly. Another thing is, when you say insult, to me, if Marc Marquez goes out and the thing has square wheels and he wins that race and somebody turns around and says, oh, look, it's the Honda, right? They're back. Yeah. That's insulting Marquez, really, because Marquez won that race. He was the guy that won the race. Without him, the things, it
is what it is, right? And look, I get people being a little bit unrealistic at times. For me, I just, like, okay.
I have no bias when it comes to manufacturers. I'm really into.
Yeah, but you let your blood pressure sometimes get.
Yeah, I know. Like, what are you stupid? Can't you see it's dead last? Can't you? And 40 years ago, don't mean shit. You know what I mean? What the hell is that?
Yeah, but look, it's. Yeah, but look, I find that very endearing, though, that people actually then take the time to go and learn the past of the brand they like. And be proud of it.
Well, if they're fans long enough, I remember there was no European brands in the MotoGP. There was Honda, Yamaha, Suzuki. That's it.
Yeah.
Oh, Quack! I'm going back a long way for Quack. They always just came in and left. They never were solid in it.
Yeah, but look, I just think, look, for me, I just think, be proud. As I said, be proud of the brand. be realistic. So last year's performance doesn't guarantee this year's performance, and I'd love to see that. I would actually love to see how Mir and Rins would do. So, like, if you had like a parallel universe, and you'd see Suzuki stayed there, so to be there, and in the other reality, Suzuki were gone, and just see how they would have fared in the championship.
Yeah, the one thing I was just thinking the other day, I thought I'd always wanted to see where BMW, they said they were going to come in, have an F1 team do the whole bike, right? And then just put their stickers on it. Well, Christ, Honda's kind of turned that way. They have all Kalex chassis, right? There's more or less saying, listen, build me an engine, build me a bike, okay? And here's the engine.
Yeah, I don't. Well, I'll
and put Honda stickers on the side of it.
I never believe Honda will give up the engine. And looks like Ducati.
No, that's good. They make good engines. So just have Kalex do the whole bike, right?
Yeah, but look,
hand him an engine, and put Honda stickers on the side. That'd be their best move.
I still believe FTR are somewhat in bed with Ducati. So like this is nothing new.
Yeah,
the wheels on it. There's only the wheels on MotoGP bikes. There's only 2 manufacturers.
Right.
There is 2 brake disc manufacturers and brake manufacturers. One is Nissan and one is Brembo.
It might as well be Brembo for how many Nissans out there. Yeah.
You have Öhlins and WP suspensions and shocks. So like the only in-house thing is the engine,
right?
And chassis, etc. Do you know what I mean? And some teams already give out the chassis, and some teams don't even have a fucking autoclave for the carbon fiber. So, like, even their fairings and all that are made outsourced. So,
right.
Look, I think the design concept and all of this, I don't know. Like, for me, it's not maybe like it used to be, but I don't think there's any problem with outsourcing bits and pieces to teams anymore. And so, like, people shouldn't really be shocked with it. Yeah,
but they are. I'm really surprised how many that some of them are. They're like, I can't believe it. Oh, they can't run that another chat. I don't get it. If it's not working, change it.
Right. Kota. Saturday sprint race. Who's your winner?
I told you I did that last week. I'm telling you.
I can't remember. And we're all,
it's all the booze, the Irishman. I'm going to go with Marc Marquez. And then Bez for second because he loves rough tracks and rain, and then Pecco for third. And I'm going to sell that for both races.
Both races, okay.
I should go Quartararo. Maybe I'll tell you what. I'll go Quartararo just to make it different. Quartararo in the main race for third.
Okay.
I love Quartararo's got to be my favorite rider, even more than Marquez. He just has more class. Let's play it that way.
All right. I'm going to go Binder for the sprint, Marquez, and I'll go Bezzecchi. And then for the feature race, I'm going to go Pecco, Marquez, and Quartararo.
Think so?
Okay. I don't know. Well, should we wait and see? And sure, I can just blame it on the drink anyway if I But anyway, I think we'll wrap it up there for this week. Thank you again, Jake, for coming along. Don't forget to like, watch, subscribe, and check out
all that fun stuff.
Yeah.
So we give away a helmet. So
that's it. Let's get to 10,000, and sure, we'll see you all again next week.
Yes.
See you later, folks.